Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Tuesday morning health bit. And every single week, we talk to somebody just about something that's going to make us feel a little better, something about that might improve our health, or generally just something that we may not have even noticed about our everyday lives. And have you ever thought about the paint around you, the colours on your walls, the colours in your houses, the colours even in your workplaces? Well, all of those things can minimize sleep disruption and combat SAD disorder, and we can talk about that, and I can talk about that personally because I've got it. So we can most definitely talk about this. I'm delighted to mention this to introduce this morning leading applied colour psychology expert Justine Fox and psychotherapist and registered nurse Lindsay George. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
So we're the colour experts here, and Justine, I'd like to start with you. I mean, the colours around us, they greatly affect our moods, don't they?
They absolutely do. I mean, colour really is a sensation we feel in our minds as a reaction to the light that reflects into our eyes. And so it can absolutely have such a positive effect on the way we feel in our spaces. And that's some of the work that we've been doing recently with Valspar for their Colour Effect colour collection, where we've looked at three basically issues that we experience within our homes. So as you mentioned, looking at sleep, looking at stress, and looking at SAD.
And that's Lindsay. I think this is a perfect time to bring you in here. I mean, I know what SAD is, seasonal affective disorder. I mean, how do you explain this to people that don't get the concept of it?
Absolutely, I think seasonal affective disorder. It's such an unknown phenomenon because people present with things that potentially you've already experienced yourself, which is low mood, sluggishness, generally slowing down, and that presents usually in the winter months when light is is the issue here, because we're not getting enough natural sunlight and we're often feeling quite depressed because we've got dark and cold winters to look forward to, and unfortunately it affects many people, but they think that perhaps it might well be low mood in links to depression, but some really simple things that people can do. And obviously there are many things, but I guess what we're here to talk about today is around the Valspar colour effect, which obviously they've created this amazing, exciting colour palette. And this is one of the tools that people can essentially utilise to try and improve and boost their well-being.
It is such a simple thing, really, if we think about it, because obviously it's what we surround ourselves. It's the bit going on in the background. And Justine, how can that really help us change those those moods around us? What is it that's going on there?
Well, I mean, basically, nature developed colours to give us visual cues, and that's what we've developed as human beings to understand. So for example, if we look at the collection for sleep, you can see there that you've got a lot of deeper tones, and the purpose of this is really to absorb as much light as possible. So it has the effect to create a more intimate space. These kind of jeweled tones as well make us feel quite relaxed and safe. That's the importance for sleep, is to feel in a great safe space. You can see in this palette that actually we're looking at colours that are inspired from nature. Research has shown that the blue-green area of colour space actually helps us to recover from stress much more quickly.
Wow.
And so the tones that we've picked of these greyed off tones, that softness to take everything right down a notch.
It's funny that we're always taught in art class at school is that green and blue are the cold colors, so you should probably stay away from this, but actually they can have a calming effect on us. If we're not doing this, what can be the effects on our health, Lindsay?
Yeah, so we can often feel just not coping. We can feel that we're not coping with life, and we can feel overwhelmed. We can have sleep disturbances. We can be overeating because we're trying to comfort ourselves, and we reach for things that potentially help us to manage those feelings. And it's often, the sort of high carbohydrate foods in the winter because we feel depressed.
So if we want to have a look at the colour palette in particular, whereabouts should we head if we wanted to find out more? Justine, you may have information on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you head down to B&Q in Valspar section of the paint area there, there are some colour cards that will give you more information about the colours that we've selected, why we've selected them, suggestions of how to use them as well. But if B&Q is not near, you can also download from their website, so valsparpaint.co.uk, and look for Colour Effect.
Now, the other thing that can change people's mood is music, and you've been kind enough to choose the playlist for us this morning. Justine, look, we played I've Got a Feeling for you at the start. You've put everybody in a good mood before we even started this interview. What an amazing choice. You a big fan of the Black Eyed Peas?
They are a firm family favourite for bouncing around the living room of a Friday night disco. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, you've been listening to the Dave Sweetmore show. I'm not sure he plays very much Black Eyed Peas. It's more Manchester bands, but we're going to play out now, Lindsay, with your choice. Now, I was over the moon when you chose this. Ray of Light, Madonna. I mean, is this themed around what we're doing here?
Well, I guess there's a link, isn't there, somewhere?
You can't go wrong with a bit of Madonna, can you? Lindsay George and Justine Fox, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Here is Madonna.